Shady, did Brock Purdy prove he's a franchise quarterback? Does your vision work enough to see that? What you looking forward to,
AC's on, turn AC. It's cold as hell in here. when I got this question from AJ,
your producer, Clay.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, man, hell yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
But what's the real definition of a franchise player or a franchise quarterback?
Franchise quarterback.
So let me break it down for a second. If I say, yo, you think Patrick Mahomes will be a franchise quarterback on any team?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Josh Allen?
Of course.
Right? Burrow? Even Lamar for a lot of teams. So when I asked you about Brock Purdy, yo, you think he'd be a franchise quarterback on any team in football? What would your answer be, Niner fan? Because I know you're a Niner guy.
Don't go to me. I'm going to derail you.
No, but I'm being serious, though. What would you say, seriously?
Not any team, no. I would say about 12 teams, not any.
And that was my point, right? It was a quick answer, like, yeah. But then when I thought about it, like, I got to say it like this. I think that the Niners found their franchise quarterback. Okay. But to say he's a franchise guy, nah. Because my franchise dude, right, is a Pro Bowler. My franchise dude is a guy that can play on any scheme, any system. And it's a guy that most teams would probably want to trade for, right? Because I was like, man, maybe he's in the same category as Jared Goff. And I'm like, is he? Because Jared Goff is the type of quarterback where I think he ain't great, but he's really, really good, playing different systems. And I think teams would trade for him to be that piece for their team, right? So, I mean, I don't know.
Let me help you. Not that you ever need help with anything.
But you agree, though. But you agree, right?
No. I think Brock Purdy is a franchise quarterback. Now, I don't think he can be a franchise quarterback for all 32 teams. Well, call the comment. I said not every team.
But so are you with me or against me? I'm trying to...
I think there's a nuance to it because I think that Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow will be great for any team. But the reason I think Brock Purdy is a franchise quarterback, not just the Niners franchise quarterback, is he's now proven to all of us that he can run his offense incredibly well. So if you are the coach, construct an offense that he can run incredibly well. That's where I'm sitting with it. Jimmy Garoppolo was different. Jimmy Garoppolo was limited with his legs. Jimmy Garoppolo was limited with his arm. So you need an offense where he has to get the ball out because he cannot use his legs. But Brock Purdy has shown you he has the ability to use his legs. Brock Purdy has shown you he has the ability to throw the deep ball. Brock Purdy has shown you he has the ability to come back from down 17 in a championship game. He has the ability to come back from down 7 in a divisional game. Brock Purdy has shown you he can win in the rain. Brock Purdy has shown you he can win in the sun. Brock Purdy has shown you he can come back from an injury. An injury so substantial that it is to his throwing arm, and he can come back and beat every team that made the playoffs in his conference the following year. So the reason he is a franchise quarterback, not just their franchise quarterback, is because he's proven to me he can run an offense incredibly well. So if you are a head coach, give him an offense. I also believe, though the Niners do have an incredibly talented offensive roster, there are about 8 to 10 offenses that have 2 really good wide receivers and a good running back. So I'm like, I think Brock Purdy could run any of those teams incredibly well. Now, if you're a team that is void of talent, no. I don't think Brock Purdy can win if you're void of talent.
So if that's
completely
the case,
void of talent.
Not to, cut into your take, but like, how can you say he's a franchise guy, not just for the Niners, but for everybody, when you're saying that it has to be a particular team for him to run in his system?
Because I believe there are only 2, 3 quarterbacks like that. I don't even love, I'm not going to derail it by saying who I don't love, but I'll say Mahomes is the only one who I think just no talent, he can get it done. And even when we say no talent, he does still have maybe the greatest tight end in the history of football.
Yeah, but
when we say his team has
put him on
no
any
talent.
32 teams, and that team's going to be good.
And they going to want him, too.
Yes, agreed.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if dudes are going to be banging on the door. Even if Brock Purdy won the Super Bowl, I don't know if teams would be banging on the door to get him if he was available. I don't see that.
Yeah, I mean, I think he is a franchise quarterback for the 49ers. Either Kyle Shanahan is a genius or he's not.
He is.
Then we can't.
But Andy Reid's a genius too.
Okay, let's for the conversation's sake, because we always get.
We getting crazy. Can we lead him out of it? Can you lead him? But just lead him out of it. Let her do her thing, but lead him out of it.
Let's leave Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid out.
Yeah, I was cursing this show, man.
Because you're not comparing Kyle Shanahan and Andy Reid, of course not.
Sean McVay's a genius. Offensively, I believe that Kyle Shanahan is a genius.
Yeah, yes, but we're not comparing Kyle Shanahan to Andy Reid.
I would, but I would understand how you all would not. But what Kyle Shanahan has done with his quarterback...
Let me finish my
Yo, you serious?
Shady, let me just finish my take.
You're getting crazy today.
We're just going to pause. We'll pause on that. We'll get to that tomorrow. We're going to remember you said that, though. There's only one Patrick Mahomes. There's only one Andy Reid. I think that Brock Purdy is a franchise quarterback for the 49ers. I do think he would have some success with some other systems as well, but I don't know it would be at such a high level because I also feel like, because we keep saying it, the Niners are built defense first.
Yeah.
Like when their defense struggles, the offense immediately struggles. Yeah. When the defense struggles, we immediately blame the defense, including the head coach. So it is defense first. It's not an offense to Kyle Shanahan. In fact, it's a compliment that he feels that he needs to build his team that way. That's what we're saying, is that he said he doesn't really need a franchise quarterback because he puts all this other talent around him. So that's why I do think that Brock Purdy is a franchise quarterback. I feel exactly the same way about Brock Purdy that I felt about Jalen Hurts last year. He answered questions that we had. He got his team to the biggest game of the year. He works perfectly in this system. He has a bunch of talent around him. He has a generational defense. He has big-time playmakers. Mm-hmm. They got to the Super Bowl. Yeah. In fact, Jalen Hurts was an all-pro. We don't mention that, but it's fine. Like, what is so irritating about saying he's like Jalen Hurts?
No, I just feel like we're hyping some things up to undermine
We're hyping up the San Francisco defense.
They're not generational.
Okay, fine. They're not generational. They're super-duper good. They're really, really... What? We ain't gonna get through this segment. Go ahead, James. Go ahead.
I'm done with it. Once he said that, she's trying to throw Andy in there with Pat. I'm done with it.
I just heard, but he gives you the facial expressions and body language, and you look at him, and he's like, I ain't saying nothing. You want to say
Yeah, it's
James' crazy.
looking at me.
I'm done with him, yo.
It's James.
And when we leave, don't be trying to get in my dressing room, and don't text me today, because you getting crazy. Text me tomorrow.
Man, listen, I look at a lot of these quarterbacks. First off, yes, I believe Brock Purdy's a franchise quarterback. I'm not going to go down the line, 32 teams but right now in the San Francisco 49ers offense and on the 49ers team, he's a franchise quarterback. The hardest position to find in football is the quarterback position.
Right.
We're over here trying to figure out if we are going to pay Baker Mayfield as a franchise quarterback, a guy that was on 4 different teams. Tampa Bay probably going to give him some money. We paid Geno Smith. We paid Daniel Jones. So if we're paying guys like that, Jimmy G leaves the Niners after a nice deal, goes to the Raiders, gets another. If we're paying guys like that to be a franchise quarterback, then absolutely Brock Purdy is a franchise quarterback. His team is in the Super Bowl. His team is in the Super Bowl because he came back from 17 down strictly off of no offense, the plays that he made. With his legs, with his arms getting outside the pocket. So if you ask me a franchise quarterback, he absolutely is a franchise quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. They found their guy. Now, if you ask me if he's going to the Carolina Panthers and going to take them to the playoffs, probably not. But
who is? I think that's the tension I have with the conversation we're having is we're creating a hypothetical that I also believe only Patrick Mahomes could fill.
Well, no, I think. Well, we would agree Josh Allen and Joe Burrow would have success in a lot of places.
He was number one pick for a reason, went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they won 2 games, so he literally did
but what I'm speaking of is like when you talk about Joe Burrow, and Shady, you and I have said this ad nauseum, is Joe Burrow's offense has talent everywhere. Great tight end, 3 really good receivers, really good running back. The Niners have a great tight end, but obviously George Kittle's way better. The Niners receiving core, though, and the Lions receiving core.
We can't compare the 49ers to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Offensively, I believe that we
can't compare the Cincinnati Bengals organization and where they were when Joe Burrow.
Oh, of course not. Not the organization. No, not the organization.
I agree with you. There's maybe 3 guys. Maybe.
That's what I'm saying.
Separate, and maybe 2 other guys that could go to any organization. That doesn't mean that there are no other franchise quarterbacks.
Yes, that's all I'm saying.
All we're saying is if your definition of a franchise quarterback is what Shady's
that's what I'm saying. What's your franchise?
Then he's not a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, because how do you define a franchise quarterback? Right. For example, okay. So, because you brought up contract. So, if I give a guy a 3-year deal with basically 2 years guaranteed, is he a franchise quarterback?
I don't believe so.
No, is he a franchise player?
No, I don't even believe so.
I agree with that, right? My thing is 5-year deal, right? That's what I was getting.
200 and some men.
I'm saying it's a player in general. Franchise player, 5-year deal, about 3.5 of a guarantee, and then you roll with it, right? So, you talked about Daniel Jones, some dudes, they got paid because that was the market, but they weren't franchise guys. What I'm saying is when I look at a franchise dudes like, franchise would love to have him as their main guy going forward. I don't know if it's a lot of teams that would just take Brock Purdy as their leader, as their quarterback on their team. I just don't see it. I don't know. Maybe you got to show me more.
Why not? I guess last question for you, Shady. Obviously, got to go to break. The reason I would say is why not is, okay, he gave you 30-plus touchdown passes. He led the team to the Super Bowl. He gave you 315 yards in a win in a conference championship game. He came back from down 17. He came back from down 7. He won when Debo was hurt. He won when Debo was healthy. He won when his defense played decent. He won when his defense played awful. Like, what else does he got to show?
Because everything you're saying is with the Niners and that whole scheme.
Yes, sir.
I've watched quarterbacks with less talent. Jimmy G's awful. When he got traded to the Niners,
Raiders,
I say, yo, there's no way that Devontae Adams was going to have a great year because the quarterback's so bad. So when I say that, like, for example, all these teams that he played in the playoffs, if Jordan Love played for the Niners, right, I think he would be a better franchise quarterback than Brock Purdy. If Jared Goff played for the Niners, I think that he would be a better quarterback.
Based on what? Now, I don't ask this argumentatively. I genuinely
because I think they're better quarterbacks. I think they got better talent. I think they're better quarterbacks. Simple as that.
How are you defining talent? You feel me? Because, like, how can you say that somebody would outplay Brock Purdy when Brock Purdy has played it? He's played at such a high level. You know how high a bar that is to clear?
See, that's why the Dan Campbell thing just popped back up in my mind. Because he messed this thing up.
So wait. So right now today, though, right? You asked me about the talent, which is, I don't know what that's about. You wouldn't say Brock Purdy's more talented than Jordan Love, would you?
It's interesting. The reason I would say yes. I saw Kurt Warner.
Stop.
Let me get it out.
Talented?
Well, here's the reason I would say yes. I saw Kurt Warner tweet something out 2 days ago, and he said, are we not going to talk about a quarterback's decision-making as talent? Are we not going to talk about a quarterback's poise as talent? Are we not going to talk about a quarterback's processor as talent? Are we not going to talk about a quarterback's ability to navigate his offense as talent? If you're only talking arm angles, I agree with you, James. I agree with you, Shady. If you're only talking arm strength, I agree with you, James. I agree with you, Shady. If you're only talking about mobility, I agree with y'all. I'm just saying, when are we going to elevate our concept of talent besides what you can do in a Pro Bowl contest?
I'll leave it here because I won't get into that because you know what's going on. I don't care if Kurt or Tommy tweeted it. I know what's going on, and you do too. I'll leave it like this. When you watch Brock Purdy, I've watched dudes with less talent take their team to the same place, NFC Championship game. I watched dudes with less talent take their team to the Super Bowl. So I've seen that before with the Niners.
Sure.
Because that's the Niners. They got great defense. They got great role players. That's who they are. They stack like that. Every team don't have that type of Kyle Shanahan, and every team don't have that type of talent. What I'm saying is, if that quarterback, Brock Purdy, can go to other teams and do that, I don't believe that. I don't believe that he could be the same type of dude in another system. That's what I'm saying. Because I've seen his highs, I've seen his lows, and then when I'm averaging him out, when I'm really watching him now, because before I was on his train, like, yo, this dude is this and that and third. Decision-making, how smart he is. But then I watch him when things ain't right, I'm like, yo, this dude, who is this guy? Because some days he be here, some days he be there. And now I go back to the team that's around him, because we've seen it before with Jimmy G.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.